meeting for the Mohave County Housing Authority Board of Directors meeting. If the clerk will call roll.
Supervisor Johnson,
Present.
Supervisor Bishop,
Here.
Chairman Watson,
Here.
Sally Deal,
Here.
Supervisor Wakamoto,
Here.
Supervisor Angus, and Linda Sadler.
Here.
All are present.
Good morning and welcome. Discussion, possible action for the approval of the April 3rd, 2017 minutes.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. And thank you. Report from the director. Dave Fox.
Good morning, Chairman Watson, members of the board. In your packet, I had a listing of the potential funding. At that time, when I prepared this, Congress had not yet passed the 2018 budget. So they have since then, and the good news is I'm not seeing any major cuts as were anticipated earlier in the year. So I don't think it will experience any cuts to our Housing Choice Voucher Program, at least. But the actual funding we've received for through this year through March has been $1,862,482 for the Housing Choice Voucher Program and VASH. And then we have every month we earn administrative fees for the Housing Authority, and so that came to $332,563. We don't yet know what the impact of the budget's going to be. Takes HUD a few months before they'll finally get us our annual allocation, and but this is the funds we've received to date. And that's all I have on the contract year 2018. We did receive an application to apply for additional VASH vouchers, and that was for 15 VASH vouchers, and hopefully that will be funded, but I haven't heard anything as of yet. If there are any questions from members of the board?
Questions? Okay, proceed.
Okay, the next item on your agenda is the financial report for the period of April 1st, 2017 through March 31st, 2018. And in your packet is just the breakdown of the funding that we received from various different programs. I break it down per city and surrounding area, and then the total amount that we've received and expended, and the families assisted for the last year.
Mr. Wolf, I didn't see any significant changes in the funding. Are there something I'm missing?
No, it's pretty much this funding has been stable over the last year. We were operating under continuing resolution. We haven't yet seen the funding for the 15 new VASH vouchers, so we don't actually know if that's going to come through, but I'm hopeful that it will. And the main reason why there's more families assisted in the Kingman area is basically due to our VASH program, and then supportive housing, bridge subsidy program, and our other special needs programs. Those are for homeless and disabled individuals and families, or housing for persons with AIDS, and there's more, they choose to live more in the Kingman and Bullhead City areas. Part of that is due to the ever-increasing rents, and Lake Havasu is the highest rental area we have in the county. We are experiencing a problem now, even in Kingman and Bullhead City, with rents going up as the housing market has improved, and some of our complexes, apartment complexes, are raising their rents, so we may not be able to assist families there. So that's a problem. I've seen it happen over the last 20, 25 years. It goes up and down based on the housing market. And when rental management companies can get more money, they start to do that. And then when housing values go down, then the rents come down. So it fluctuates.
Okay. Any comments? That brings us to, I believe, item number 5, the public hearing. Open the public hearing for request of comments on the revisions of the Mohave County Housing Authority's administrative plan. Anyone wishing to speak to that plan? Pardon me?
Regular about everything we've discussed before.
Correct. All right. Then I'll close the public hearing. On to item number 6. Discussion possible action for the approval of the revision of the following sections of the Mohave County Housing Authority's administrative plan. Mr. Wolf?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, HUD sets overarching policies and regulations for the housing authorities throughout the country, but they also allow for individual housing authorities to set policy and identify procedures, and we're supposed to outline those in the administrative plan. What you have before you is changes in language. Some of them are pretty minute. There's no major policy changes, but it's pretty much that we have to adopt these with the changes in regulations, or we find that things are not working out so well in what we're currently doing, so we've made some changes. And all of the changes were discussed at the Resident Advisory Board with the Resident Advisory Board members who represent members of the Housing Authority, and there was no comment during the Resident Advisory Board meeting. And as I said before, these are not any major policy changes. So, but we just have to change some language here and there in the administrative plan. And there's a description of what the changes are, as well as you have in your packet actual copies of the added language and so forth. So.
Comments on Chapter A? Then on to Chapter B, earned income disallowance for persons with disabilities. I don't believe there's a change on that, is there, Mr. Wolf?
No.
On to item C, the chapter on earned income disallowance for persons of disability. Changes there?
Yeah, this is a change in regulation that we had on the earned income disallowance for persons with disabilities. So it's a required change.
Comments? There being none, on to Chapter D. Changes in family household composition.
Just a clarification of language there.
And that clarification was?
the age of a full-time student to read 18 and over instead of over 18 years of age.
So the addition is full-time student, is that correct?
Right.
Thank you. On to portion E, Chapter 11, notification of due family share and the HAP amount. Any changes there, sir?
We're just changing, what the admin plan says is that we put the amounts calculated on the letter to the family, and that's not something that we need to do. We sit down with the families, and we explain the change and how much their rent is going to be. And then they also have an opportunity for a hearing on that amount, so just, this would save us a little time.
Comments? On to F, Chapter 15, family eligibility.
This is for our homeownership program, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, and it just allows us to have some flexibility when we're working with a VA loan. A VA loan does not require that you have 3% of the purchase price as a down payment. So we will be able to adjust it when we're working with a VA loan.
Okay. Comment? Comments from the board? On to G, Chapter 16, review for procedures.
This is just adding, since we had the reorganization in the Community Services Department and with the Housing Authority, different titles of people that can do the informal reviews.
Comments? There being none. On to Chapter 16, hearings and participants. I didn't see any changes in that, Mr. Wolf, is there?
No.
Okay.
Same as the one above.
Okay, on to I, Chapter 16, Part 9, notification regarding application provisions of the Violence Against Women Reauthorization Act. I believe there was some changes in that, wasn't there?
Yeah, this is just, we're correcting the references on the form. When the act was reauthorized in 2013, they changed some language on the form, and this just recognizes that.
Question, comment? There being none,
Chairman Watson, I make a motion that we approve the revision of the sections that we just discussed.
we have a motion to accept the revisions as discussed. And a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And thank you very much for a very good meeting this morning. Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Fine presentation.
Oh, thank you. Do have a couple more items, Mr. Chairman. I mean, one more item.
One more item? Did I not go far enough? Call to the public.
I don't think so. Drink more water.
There's actually an
Number
item,
seven?
item 7, to approve the resolution at the very, very bottom.
I'm sorry, I thought that was what the motion was for, discussion possible action for the adoption of the resolution.
Chairman Watson, I'll make a motion that we approve the adoption of resolution number 2018-01.
And a second? Does that satisfy the clerk? Thank you. Any further discussion? There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. And furthermore, do we have any call to the public? Do we have any announcements? Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.